214543 Juliana, engine start is approved, and you're cleared to San Juan Bravo 520.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this edition of FS MaNiA. I know it's taken much longer than normal to publish this video, and I apologize for the delay. Many of you have checked in with me to see if I was okay. Thank you for that. Life has just been very hectic lately, but I'm okay, and I promise we're going to make it to Wichita. Guaranteed. Previously on FS MaNiA, shortly after departing St. Maarten for Fort Lauderdale, this happened. Phenom 7 X-ray Mike declaring an emergency, request vectors and descent to the nearest airport. Our engine failure was quickly diagnosed by a crack team of Embraer jet techs. Turns out we had an out-of-memory error in the FADEC software. A few tweaks to the config file solved the out-of-memory problem. Then the jet techs pumped 650 gallons of Jet A out of our fuel tanks to lighten our takeoff weight by over 4,000 pounds. With a much lighter fuel load, we performed a short-field takeoff from the 2,300-foot St. Bart's runway and headed back over to St. Maarten to top off the fuel tanks and fill out the mountain of paperwork that is standard protocol anytime an in-flight emergency is declared. So, finally, we have filed our IFR flight plan with Juliana Flight Service, and we are all set to fly this beautiful but sometimes finicky jet to the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport. The Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport identifier Kilo Foxtrot Lima Lima is located between Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, and Dana Beach, 3 miles southwest of downtown Fort Lauderdale and 21 miles north of Miami. The airport is near cruise line terminals at Port Everglades and is popular among tourists bound for the Caribbean. Originally named Merle Fogg Airport, it was opened on an abandoned 9-hole golf course on May 1st, 1929. At the start of World War II, it was commissioned by the United States Navy and renamed Naval Air Station Fort Lauderdale. Naval Air Station Fort Lauderdale was the home base for Flight 19, the 5 TBM Avenger aircraft that disappeared in December 1945, leading in part to the notoriety of the Bermuda Triangle. Naval Air Station Fort Lauderdale closed on October 1st, 1946, and was transferred to county control, becoming Broward County International Airport. In 1959, the airport opened its first permanent terminal building and assumed its current name. Beginning in February of 2007, the airport started fees for all users, including private aircraft. It is one of a handful of airports to administer fees to private pilots. A minimum charge of $10 is assessed to private aircraft which land at the airport. So, we'll have to pay our $10 to land. That's okay. After landing, we'll head over to the Sheltair FBO, where they have 24-hour U.S. Customs on site, as well as a great pilot's lounge with snooze rooms. After catching a few Z's, we'll head over to Embraer's Executive Jet Service Center, located on the north side of the field. We've had a few problems with this jet I want to have addressed, and while we're there, we're having a Flight 1 Garmin GTN 750 installed courtesy of Bert Piquet. Thank you very much, Bert. We'll get a chance to see how the Phenom 300 flies with a touchscreen GTN 750 on the last leg of our trip to Wichita. Before we board the jet, let's take a quick look at the flight plan route for this trip. I get a lot of questions about how I select routes, SIDs, and stars for FS MaNiA flights. I do have an FS MaNiA video titled Flight Planning Tips and Tools that you can check out on the FS MaNiA channel. I'll put a link in the video notes below. For most of the trips I fly on this channel, I start my flight planning using simbrief.com to determine the best routing. Once I have my route established, I like to see it plotted on both VFR and IFR en route charts. Skyvector.com is a great online resource for plotting your proposed route on a chart. Our SimBrief generated route from St. Maarten to Fort Lauderdale has 7 different airways with 25 waypoints. So we don't have to type and plot every single waypoint along our route. We'll use Skyvector.com for a simple way to get our route on the en-route IFR and VFR charts. First, put the identifiers in your departure and destination airports. Tango November Charlie Mike for the departure, Kilo Foxtrot Lima Lima for the destination. SkyVector draws a line between the airports. From here, I could just move the flight path from nav A to assemble a flight plan, or I could just type the SimBrief flight plan into the route box. Let's do that. The first waypoint on our route is Juice, which is located west of St. Maarten on the Bravo 520 airway. This will be our entry point on the airway. And fortunately, the Juliana 2 SID, or Standard Instrument Departure from St. Maarten, includes a transition that will take us to Juice. This is an orderly way to navigate out of the airport traffic area onto the airway, while at the same time ensuring terrain clearance in the IFR environment. Now all we need to do is type the rest of our SimBrief flight plan. We'll take Bravo 530 over to the St. Thomas VOR, which is Sierra Tango Tango. Then Route 6 over to the San Juan VOR, which is Sierra Juliet Uniform. Then Route 2 to the Boriquin VOR, which is Bravo Quebec November. Then Alpha 636 up to the Great Iguana VOR, which is Zulu India November. Then Alpha 756 to Ducky. And finally, Alpha 555 to the Nassau VOR, which is Zulu Quebec Alpha. The Nassau VOR is the last fix on our route and is also the first fix on the Decal 4 Star standard terminal arrival route into Fort Lauderdale. So there's our completed route drawn on the chart, a total of 1,118.4 nautical miles, and we're showing 3 hours and 3 minutes of flight time. We can also check out our route on the VFR chart to see more detail on the terrain we'll be flying over. St. Thomas, San Juan, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and then our route will turn north to Dodge Cuban airspace, and we'll be flying over the Bahamas all the way up to Nassau, where we will join the Decal 4 arrival into Fort Lauderdale. Easy peasy. Okay, pre-flight planning is complete. It's time to go flying. Climb aboard, buckle up. Here we go. Hello and welcome to the flight deck. Let's get started. We've got a very complex flight plan to put in. We're going to do that. I've just reviewed it with you, and I've got the airplane powered up. Everything is set as normal. Auto and switches in the up position except for the engine switches, which are in the off position. We'll cut those on in just a minute, but let's just dive right in and go ahead and get this complex flight plan punched in. Now, out of a little bit out of sequence, we need to go to the procedure key first and select our departure so that we can tell the GPS where we are, and we are at St. Maarten, so we'll just go ahead and enter select departure, and we'll select the Juliana 2 departure. So that should come up right there, and that's good, and that's runway 10. And the transition we want is Juice. And I've got this from pre-flight planning, but we'll also be calling to get our clearance here in just a moment. So we're going to go ahead and enter that and load it. Now we can go to our flight plan. We'll bring that page up. There it is. And you can see St. Maarten, Tango, November, Charlie, Mike is right here in the departure. So we want to come down to the bottom, and there's Juice, which is where we will get on our first airway. And we want to select an airway at Juice. So I'm going to go ahead and put the cursor right down here. And let's bring up the waypoint box, and let's load airway right over here. And it's asking us for the entry. For some reason, it will not put it in there on the first one, but after that it will. So we'll just type it in, no big deal. Juice. There it is, comes in, and we'll enter it. And we have to tell it which way direction we're going. We are going to take, actually, there's the airway, it's Bravo 520, and we're going to take it over to St. Thomas, which is Sierra Tango Tango. So I want to see, is it north or south? And let's see, let's go back up here. Yeah, I think it's this one. So there's 2 Bravo Tangos. Let's just see if it'll bring it up. Yep. Sierra Tango Tango. That's St. Thomas. So we're going to load that. So let's just come down. Highlight the load. Enter it. And lo and behold, we have it in there. Now we've come down to just below St. Thomas. And we'll go ahead and load up our next airway. And that is going to be Route 6, which is just a little short airway just to get us from one section to the other. So let's just scroll through until we find Route 6. There's Route 12, Route 2, and there's a Route 6. And we want to go up to San Juan, which is Sierra Juliet uniform. And let's see, yep, there's just one, so it should bring it right on up. There it is, San Juan. So good show, we've got that in there. We'll load her up, and then let's scroll down to below that. We'll just keep doing this and building our flight plan leg by leg. And so let's go ahead and bring up our airway, our waypoint box, bring up our airway entry. Our entry point is San Juan, and now we want to go Route 2 over to Bravo Quebec November, and that is Boric BOR, something along that line. So let's see if there's more than, I said Route 2, right? So let's bring Route 2 up, and is there more than one? There it is. I think that's the one. Let's see if we get, yep, there it is, Bravo Quebec November. So that's the way we want to go. We're going to enter that. So we're getting a lot of waypoints in here, and quick and easy. Let's see, now we want to take from there another airway. So we'll bring up our waypoint box, load our airway Alpha 636. That's the one. Let's see, there's a north and south. Nope, just one direction. And we're going to take it up to Zulu India November. And I think it's a pretty good ways. There it is. And let's go down and load that. There's a bunch of waypoints all entered in for us. And now we'll come over and let's bring our waypoint box up, and from there we're going to take Alpha 756 to Ducky. So let's bring load airways up, and let's look for Alpha 756. There it is, and let's see, it does have a north and south, and let's see if we can find Ducky. And it might have actually been the other way. I think it was. So let me go back up there. Go back one. Yep, I think that was it. And there's Ducky right there. So we got it in. And we'll go ahead and load that up. We're getting close when we get to Ducky. So now we'll come down. Load Ducky. We're taking that airway over to, now from Ducky we're going to take Alpha 555. So let's bring it up. Load airway. There's Alpha 555. Let's see if there's more than one. There is. And we want to go to Zulu Quebec Alpha, which is Nassau. So let's see if this is which way it goes. I think it's the other one. Does that look right? No, I think I had it right to start with. Try that again. Yep, there it is right there. That's the one we want. So we'll enter that. Let's come down here and load it. And that takes us all the way to Nassau. And that's where we will begin our arrival into Fort Lauderdale. So now we can just plug in Fort Lauderdale, which is Kilo. Let's get the flashing cursor. There we go. Kilo, Foxtrot, Lima, Lima. Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood International. Yes, it is. That's what we want. We'll accept that. And now we have a completed flight plan. Easy peasy. So let's just press this box right here. And I say that is good to go. So fly the line, run with speed. We have our flight plan, our temperature. We can go ahead and take a look here. We're at 28 degrees Celsius. Let's come in here on system, engine set, and looking at the temperature right here. It's set on 7 degrees Celsius, so we're going to raise that up to 28 Celsius. Hear that thunder? We got to hurry up and get out of here. That's good. Let's go back and fly the line. Landing weight is 17,002. I'm sorry, that's not landing weight. It's landing field elevation, which we can come in and put that in here, LFE, and we can use the flight plan by FMS LFE. I think, though, I'm going to try something different because I've been getting this chime, and I'm wondering if it's got something to do with this. So I'm just going to try, just for the heck of it, we're going to go with a landing field elevation of 50 feet, and that'll be close enough, and we'll see if we still get that chime. Just trying to figure out still what that chime is. I'll talk more about that. I've been talking to Carenado. They've not been a lot of help, but we'll see. Okay, so the radar is set to off because it doesn't work anyway, and now our weight for takeoff is 17,200 pounds. I've already set the VREF. VR V2 speeds up. The VREF is for landing, but VR is on at 107 knots and V2 at 116, and so that's all good. And that, I think we are ready to call clearance, and I've already got them dialed in COM1. So let's just give them a call. Juliana clearance, November 757 X-ray Mike. We are ready for our clearance to Fort Lauderdale, Kilo Foxtrot Lima Lima.
Phenom 757 X-ray Mike cleared to the Kilo Foxtrot Lima Lima airport via Juliana 1 departure, then as filed. Climb and maintain 1000, expect flight level 270, 10 minutes after departure. Contact Juliana departure on 128.85. Squawk 0316.
Okay, understand we are cleared to the Fort Lauderdale airport via the Juliana 1 departure, then is filed. Climb and maintain 1000, expect flight level 270, 10 minutes after departure. Juliana departure is on 2885 and squawking 0316.
Phenom 7 X-ray Mike, read back correct. Contact Juliana Tower 118.7. Correction, 118.6 when ready to taxi.
Okay, we'll give them a call on 18.6. See ya. All right, so we're going to go ahead and bring our engine up here into the run position, which will get our rotating beacon started. And let's just come down here and bring our checklist up. Handy dandy. And let's see, we want to bring up normal. So we can flip down here, we'll enter that. And we have done all that, so let's see, we want to come over here to before start and just be sure we have checked our oxygen, it's all good. Our test panel's done, fire protection, smoke detector, renunciators, signs and outlets. Let's bring them on up to the personal electronic devices are off. That's good. External lights, we've cut on our beacon. Emergency light switch is armed, and fuel quantity, we are full. We have 5,400 pounds, which is about 800 gallons on board, and oxygen pressure is checked. It's fine, 1850 psi. Engine ignition switches are in the auto position. Our thrust levers are idle. Parking brake is set and doors are closed. Next checklist, and that's after start. So we are ready to start. Let's clear the area. I don't see any ground crew around. And let's go ahead and start number 2, and we'll come in and watch it spool up. Monitor ITT and oil pressure in 1 and 2, everything coming up. We should get a light off here at about 6% in 1. There's another good light. Going on down our checklist. GPU is disconnected. Electric emergency button over here. See if I can push it in. May have to go over here to it. That's all right. Flip open. There you are. Let's push it in. Let's go back. We'll check our voltage. Make sure it's holding steady at 28 volts. It is. And let's go back and cut that off. It's white, it should be blank, and We still have our 28 volts, so we're good to go. Batteries 1 and 2 is checked. Electric emergency is pushed out. Stall warning protection system we've tested already, and the AF auto flight control system. So Lewis set our 1000 for our initial climb altitude and 160 knots for our initial speed. For departure, we'll set that up here. And heading, we'll use runway heading to begin with, and that is going to be 09 something, 3 or 4 or somewhere in there. We'll set that up, and we're good to go there. So we can test, go ahead and enter. And takeoff data, we have set the outside air temperature. That's all done. Landing field, yes. Takeoff speeds are set, transponders set, altimeters we did not set, 3000 as I recall. Let's come down, set that one. That's good, and the others follow suit. Where did they go? I thought it would, but I was wrong. So we'll set that one too. Stand by and check over here. Cross check it, and that one is set, so that's good. That's why we have checklists. Flight controls, let's test them, be sure we have a full range of movement. Everything feels good, feels right, looks good, is good. Enter. And our trims are set right now at 7.5, that's good. And flaps will set 1 notch for takeoff. Done. And external lights and emergency light switch. So we'll go ahead and move on down to the next checklist. Call for clearance to taxi. Juliana 757 X-ray Mike, we are ready to taxi.
Phenom 757 X-ray Mike, Juliana Tower, good morning. Information Gulf is current, runway 10, taxi via Alpha, Juliana, altimeter 3000.
Runway 10 via Alpha for 7 X-ray Mike. And let's get a taxi light on over here. And that is armed. Yep, no cast messages there. We'll release our brake and taxi for departure. It's been fun. Ready to get out of here and go to Fort Lauderdale. Giddy up. Okay, here's our takeoff briefing. I will be the pilot flying. This will be a departure from runway 10.
Flight 230 Alpha, to get a Delta.